Tonight, a Dennery man is dead after receiving a gunshot to the head. Minister Guy Joseph makes it clear that the good of the country will not be sacrificed for the sake of appeasing public servants. And as the Education Ministry proposes a phased reopening of school, hear what the president of the Principals Association has to say on the matter. The details of these stories and more are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Thursday, the 14th of May, 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow, Channel 117. The broadcast is also being simulcast on Kiss FM, the Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, and our Facebook page. I'm Lovely Saint Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. Darnell Joseph, also known as Fra, was shot dead on Thursday in the community of Dennery. He was shot in the head while at the Dennery Fisheries Complex. The circumstances surrounding the fatal shooting are still sketchy, but emergency personnel say they received a call about the incident at about 10:20 a.m. Thursday.
The Dennery Fire Station responded to a call relating to a shooting incident at the Dennery Fishing Complex at approximately 10:20 a.m. on Thursday, 14th May. The responding officers found one male individual in a sitting position appearing to be bleeding from his head. An examination revealed that the individual was unresponsive and pulseless and sustained a penetrating wound behind his left ear. Further examination revealed that the patient had what appeared to be a fractured jaw. He was immediately transferred to the ambulance, where CPR was quickly initiated and continued en route to the Dennery Hospital, where he was left in the care of a medical practitioner.
A police investigation into the fatal shooting is underway. Anyone with information relating to the incident should call the nearest police station. Economic Development Minister Guy Joseph did not mince words when he phoned into Keeping It Real to discuss the matter of the public service and current wage negotiations. He argues that if there is one thing that COVID-19 has proved in St. Lucia, it is that the public service can function with a lot less staff than it has and still be as efficient and productive. The Civil Service Association, CSA, has made it clear that it expects the government to pay public sector salaries in full for the month of May. The CSA membership has rejected the 50% cash and 50% in bonds salary offer. The CSA says that has been communicated to the government, but the union has received no official response. Economic Development Minister Guy Joseph, however, has been very outspoken on this matter. He phoned in to the talk show Keeping It Real to discuss the current realities as it relates to the public sector.
My position, and I'm not afraid to declare my position on it, I don't think you sacrifice good workers for the sake of workers who do not produce. And as we speak, since the COVID situation started, there have people in my ministry who have never reported to work one day. And yet still, I challenge anybody to show me that the productivity of the ministry is any less.
Joseph says the economic fallout from COVID-19 will require everyone to make sacrifices. He argues that the deferred payment proposed as a 50% cash payment and 50% in bonds is a small sacrifice to make for the betterment of the entire country.
I know I belong to a government that values the work of the people of St. Lucia, but at the same time, we cannot sacrifice the country for the sake of one sector who's not willing to make a small sacrifice
that
to
everybody else has
in the situation.
Yeah.
Minister Joseph made it clear that the country will not be held to ransom to find favor with public sector workers.
You do not run the country into the precipice just to please some unions and some workers.
And so it seems the government and public sector unions have reached an impasse on this matter. The General Secretary of the Civil Service Association, Claude Paul, has stated that public servants are waiting for what is contractually due to them. He says members have made it very clear to the government what their stance on the mixed modality of payment is and are awaiting the response from the government on their counter-proposal, which was issued on the 4th of May. Genevieve Gonzague has more in this report.
With payday being a mere 2 weeks away, civil servants are awaiting a response from the government on how they will be paid. CSA official Claude Paul says the Trade Union Federation presented the government with a counter-proposal on May 4th and is still awaiting a reply.
Well, the counter-proposal was to refuse the request of government to pay in that modality. And that was based on the guidance from the membership, well, for them to be paid their salaries as due.
Paul says there needs to be more collaboration, consultation, openness and frank communication on the part of the government with the unions rather than subtle threats or harsh demands.
Put all the cards on the table so we can all consider. At the moment, I am not sure that that is the situation we are dealing with, because there are questions that have been asked, for example, about the existence of CIP funds, which have not been answered, about the famous lockbox, if it's available, what is in there. We don't know the answer to these questions, yet we are being told all sorts of things. The government, by its budget address or presentation of estimates, has told clearly which direction they want to go, right? And other persons, not only in the union, but in wider society, have suggested that they should be better, that perhaps our resources should be better spent in the short term.
He says, given that the position of the union is to protect the interest of its members, the union will not stand to have members be drawn into indebtedness as their first option.
In effect, what the modality does is that it reduces the pay to 50%. And so in those instances, in order to continue to meet their commitments, like house rent, deductions to other things, maybe credit union, maybe they have some other deduction of some sort for some other important considerations, insurance payments, CSA dues, for instance, they would have to choose between those commitments and feeding their families. And so therefore, it means that they will accumulate more debt in the process, notwithstanding that the moratoriums on mortgages and other major loans is already a mechanism for increasing indebtedness.
Paul says the opportunity to have an objective discussion on possible options has not been presented to the unions, rather a position has been presented by the government. He says this is leading to unnecessary contention. He has indicated that unions and their members are willing to stand their ground. However, if the government comes with a more reasonable negotiation, then there is no doubt that members will be willing to compromise. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
Members of the public also weighed in on the apparent deadlock between the government and public sector unions, airing their views on what is the best way forward on public sector wage negotiations.
As the pay date for May inches closer, the Hot 7 team took to the streets to find out whether members of the public think it's time that the civil servants make a sacrifice and accept the mixed modality of payment that the government has proposed. Here's what you had to see.
No.
Okay, so if they don't accept the cash and bonds proposal, what do you propose an alternative? What else can be done? Because we're in a crisis, there's an issue with the cash flow. How exactly do you think?
To tell you the truth, I didn't like what the Prime Minister did to cut on civil servant wage, yeah? Because some of them, they have mortgage to pay. They have a lot of things to do. I didn't back that. For me, they should be on a strike for what the government did. But they will never go on a strike, I know for sure, because they're watching the majority people in St. Lucia.
I think they should, you know, in these crisis times, what can we do? You know, we have to do with what we have.
Is whatever they see that is best for them, they go for it, because you or me would not know what is in their best interest. So whatever they find that is okay for them, they'll go right ahead and do it.
Of course, they should accept it because right now we're in a crisis, and not just we, the entire world is in a crisis. And it's not that they lose their money. So just while we're in the crisis, just accept it. And as soon as things get better, everything will fall in place. They'll get whatever that belongs to them.
They should not accept it at all, because to me there's other ways and means he could handle his situation instead of attacking the civil servants. Okay, he should find ways and means to do it the same way he getting the means to do for his friends and fans and them, and to help them out. He should not attack the civil servants at all, not in this time when the people need their money and things are bad and they have their needs for them to do that. Okay? That is wrong. The government should think of that first before hitting them. What I feel he can do, maybe cut down on his cabinet. He has too much of a large one. That's what he should do. Cut down on his cabinet. He has too many people getting paid for no reason.
I will say no. Because when the Prime Minister was borrowing money, giving away money like he as a madman, nothing for that. Why, when things is tough, you want to cut civil servant salary? It's wrong. I believe that the Prime Minister should not give away money in the first place. Because if I'm an investor, I have to commit my money to invest in a country. No government in the right sense, a prime minister in the right sense, will give a foreigner money to invest. And if I'm an investor, they give me money to invest and I leave the country. What about the taxpayers?
And this is what you had to say. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. When we return, the Ministry of Education considers a phased reopening for grade 6 and Form 5 students. More hints that the government is prepping to announce a reopening of commercial activity come Friday. That and more after the break.